I want to bring back in Jeff Saturday. And Jeff, you know what? I want to go there. I know this news just officially broke from Tom Brady himself. Adam obviously had the story a few days ago. But do you think Tom Brady is the best football player ever?
Oh, my
Sorry,
word.
we're doing it.
This is going to be a hard one because I'm going to upset a lot of people. I will say he's the greatest quarterback to do it. But when you go football player, it's hard. It's hard for me to get away from a man like Lawrence Taylor. I look at it positionally, and I think that's kind of a blessing and a curse when you think of the positions of football. But obviously he's the most recognized football player. And again, he's put himself in a class all by himself. But when there's so many different positions, Molly, that it becomes difficult for me to get away from a Lawrence Taylor or the way that he played the game and changed the position, really changed the NFL. You think about left tackles and it's been, it's widely regarded why they changed the way that we block and the style of blocking, all because of that. But yeah, it's a tough day to go into this. I mean, I'm going to get all kinds of Brady hate, and I just said how much I love the guy. But it was football player. It becomes greatest quarterback, the greatest to ever do it when it comes to those conversations.
Please, listen, Jeff Saturday, Sergeant Friday. Listen up, man. It's not difficult. It's not difficult for me. It's Tom Brady. Lawrence Taylor was phenomenal. He was menacing. He was a game changer. He was all those things plus more, things that you, Coach Bill Belichick, and others have alluded to that y'all are far more qualified than me to pontificate about or really to just gauge and summarize. But here's the bottom line. 7 Super Bowl championships from the quarterback position. He did it in his 20s. He did it in his 30s. He did it in his 40s. And when he retired his last year in the National Football League, as a quarterback, he threw for over 5,300 yards, okay, and 40 touchdowns, for crying out loud. And by the way, the last time we saw him, he was down 27-3 and came back and tied the damn game before Matthew Stafford connected with Cooper Kupp on a long play that ultimately led to a game-winning field goal by the Los Angeles Rams with Aaron Donald and Von Miller and Jalen Ramsey and those boys on the defensive side of the ball against Tom Brady. When I look at defensive players like a Lawrence Taylor, one of a kind, clearly elite on every level, probably the greatest defensive player we've ever seen. But when you compare him to a quarterback who spanned 3 decades doing what he does, who, by the way, has 5 more rings, last time I checked, it comes down to 2 things, winning and the responsibility you played in winning. And so what I'm saying to you is when you look at Tom Brady, and you look at the fact that he's playing the quarterback position, and you look at how he's been able to lead, and you look at how many times we looked at the New England Patriots and we thought they were bereft of weapons. And remember, back when he first started, they were, we know they had an elite defense, okay? And as a result, that propelled Tom Brady to new heights, even though he didn't perform shabbily in those Super Bowls. But then there were other appearances. You know what? Yeah, you lost with Randy Moss, but you won with others, okay? And you didn't have an all-world number 2 receiver all time in the history of the NFL. And you won with those guys. You won using 2 tight ends. You won with Bill Belichick coaching you, Josh McDaniels coaching you. We get all of that. But in the end, it was you. And so when I look at it from that perspective, even the great Lawrence Taylor, who is phenomenal, when we talk about football, I'm not talking about athleticism or anything like that, just football, there is no greater winner. And the fact that he was a winner at the quarterback position, to me, puts him head and shoulders above everybody else in the history of the sport.
Yeah, I would say the one thing I do agree with you completely is when you talk about comparing him outside of the game of football because of what he has done to win games, it's remarkable. Listen, he has driven, and here's the crazy part. I mean, I've talked to many people that have talked about being a teammate with him and being in the locker room with him, and he not only drives himself, he drives others. So I think that is a very special characteristic that most people don't have. Again, when you think about what he was capable of doing, so Stephen A., I'm with you. I mean, listen, when you think about it, especially on the day he's stepping away from this thing, being the greatest to ever do it in our game, 7 Super Bowls, going to 10, all the different things. But I think the final portion of his career for me, is the most remarkable. Again, man, he should be the MVP this season. I don't know if he will be, but he should be. Being 44 years old, winning a Super Bowl at 44, and then obviously getting the MVP. It's unbelievable, and that we liken him to Michael Jordan and to Serena Williams and to all the different sports, and that he crosses those spectrum. I think that's because of position, because it's not player specific, right? When you boil down, and did the defense win championship, did the offense win championships, but that he supersedes all those conversations and is placed in those things. He's remarkable, man. Like it's and again, I'm a fan, which is insane to me. But I have been a fan the past few years. He has been remarkable in what he's been capable of doing.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.